Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chill English Channel. I'm Sophia, and we're so happy you decided to spend some time with us today.
And I'm Jake. Whether you're relaxing at home, driving to work, walking in the park, or enjoying a quiet evening, thank you for listening. We hope this conversation helps you improve your English in a calm and natural way.
Today, we have a topic that almost everyone enjoys talking about because it helps us understand ourselves and the people around us.
That's right. Today we're talking about personalities, how people describe themselves, why everyone is different, and how these differences make life more interesting.
As always, our conversation is designed for English learners from about B1 to C1 level. We'll use natural expressions, explain ideas clearly, and repeat important vocabulary in different ways.
Remember, you don't have to understand every single word. Just relax, follow the conversation, and let your English grow naturally, little by little.
Before we begin, here's a simple question for you to think about while you listen.
If someone asked you to describe your personality using only 3 words, which 3 words would you choose?
Maybe you would say you're friendly, calm, and curious.
Or perhaps you're creative, energetic, and optimistic.
Some people might describe themselves as quiet, thoughtful, or patient.
Others may say they're adventurous, confident, or humorous.
There are no perfect answers because every personality is unique.
And sometimes, the hardest person to describe is yourself.
That's true. We often know many things about other people, but when someone asks us to describe ourselves, we suddenly become quiet.
I think that's because we see ourselves every day, so we don't always notice our own habits.
Exactly. We usually notice other people's personalities more easily than our own.
So today, we'll explore different personality traits and also talk about how personalities can change over time.
That's an important point because many people think personality never changes.
But life experiences, new friendships, work, travel, and even learning a new language can influence who we become.
Speaking of that, Jake, how would you describe your personality today?
Today? That's a difficult question already. It depends on the situation.
That's a very honest answer.
I think I'm naturally calm. I don't usually panic when something unexpected happens. I prefer to stop, think for a moment, and then decide what to do.
So you would say you're a calm person rather than an impulsive person.
Yes, I think that's fair. I'm also quite curious. I enjoy learning about different cultures, reading interesting articles, and asking questions.
I've noticed that about you. Sometimes you ask so many questions that I wonder if you're secretly interviewing everyone you meet.
Maybe I am. But I believe every person has an interesting story if you take the time to listen.
I really like that idea. Being curious doesn't only mean learning facts, it also means being interested in people.
Exactly. Curiosity helps conversations become deeper and more meaningful.
If I had to describe myself, I would probably say I'm friendly, organized, and a little bit perfectionistic.
A little bit?
Okay, maybe more than a little bit.
I was gonna say that. You like making lists for everything.
I really do. I enjoy planning my day, writing down my goals, and keeping things organized. It helps me feel relaxed.
And what happens if your plan changes?
At first, I feel slightly uncomfortable, but I'm learning to become more flexible.
That's interesting because flexibility is also part of personality for many people.
Yes, some people enjoy making detailed plans, while others prefer to decide everything at the last minute.
Neither way is automatically better. They're simply different styles.
Exactly. That's something worth remembering whenever we compare ourselves with others.
Sometimes we admire qualities that we don't naturally have.
For example, I admire people who can start conversations with complete strangers without feeling nervous.
Really? I thought you could do that.
I can now, but it wasn't always easy. When I was younger, I was much quieter.
That's surprising.
It surprises many people because personality isn't always fixed. Experience changes us.
I had a similar experience. When I started my first job, I wasn't very confident speaking in meetings.
What changed?
Practice. At first, I only shared one small idea. Then I became more comfortable speaking. Little by little, my confidence grew.
That's encouraging because many listeners are learning English right now.
Yes, and maybe some of them think they're shy people.
Being shy doesn't mean you'll always stay shy.
Exactly. Confidence is often built through small experiences repeated many times.
Let's explain a few useful words we've already used. The first word is confident.
A confident person believes in their abilities and isn't too afraid of making mistakes.
That doesn't mean they think they're perfect.
Not at all. Truly confident people know they still have things to learn.
Another useful word is curious.
A curious person enjoys discovering new ideas, asking questions, and learning from different experiences.
Then we have organized.
An organized person likes structure, plans, and keeping things in order.
And finally, flexible.
A flexible person can adapt when plans change, instead of becoming frustrated immediately.
You know, Jake, one thing I've always found interesting is that people often describe themselves differently from how other people describe them.
That's true. Sometimes we're much harder on ourselves than everyone else is.
Exactly. Someone might say, "I'm boring," while their friends think they're thoughtful and easy to talk to.
Or someone might believe they're not confident even though everyone around them sees them as calm and reliable.
That reminds me of something. Have you ever asked your friends how they would describe your personality?
I have, actually. It was both interesting and a little surprising.
What did they say?
Most of them described me as patient. I honestly didn't expect that.
Really? Why not?
Because I notice all the moments when I lose my patience inside my own mind. Even if I don't say anything, I still feel impatient sometimes.
That's a great point. We know our private thoughts, but other people only see our actions.
Exactly. So they judge us by what we do, while we often judge ourselves by what we think.
That's a very important difference.
It also shows why feedback from other people can sometimes help us understand ourselves better.
Of course, not every opinion is correct.
No, definitely not. But if several people tell you the same positive thing, it might be worth believing them.
I agree. Sometimes compliments are difficult to accept.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because many people focus more on their weaknesses than on their strengths.
That's true. If someone says, "You're a good listener," our first reaction might be, "Really? I don't think so."
Instead of simply saying, "Thank you."
Exactly.
Speaking of being a good listener, do you think listening is part of someone's personality?
I think it can be. Some people naturally enjoy listening more than speaking.
While others feel energized when they're sharing stories or leading conversations.
Neither personality is wrong. The important thing is balance.
That's a nice word, balance.
Yes, even talkative people should know when to listen, and quiet people should feel comfortable sharing their ideas.
Let's talk about another pair of words that people often confuse, introvert and extrovert.
Ah, yes. Those words are popular, but many people misunderstand them.
Some people think an introvert is simply shy.
But that's not always true.
Can you explain the difference?
Sure. An introvert usually feels energized after spending some quiet time alone. Too much social activity can make them feel tired.
While an extrovert often gains energy from being around other people.
Exactly. It's more about where your energy comes from than whether you're friendly.
That's an excellent explanation.
An introvert can be very confident and enjoy conversations.
And an extrovert can sometimes feel nervous in certain situations.
Personality is much more complicated than simple labels.
Which do you think you are?
Honestly, somewhere in the middle.
So maybe an ambivert?
Yes, I think that's the best description. I enjoy spending time with people, but I also need quiet moments to recharge.
I think many people are like that.
What about you?
I'd probably say the same. I love meeting friends, but after a busy weekend, I usually want one peaceful evening with a book or a movie.
That sounds familiar.
It's funny how staying home can sometimes feel just as exciting as going somewhere else.
Especially after a long week.
Another personality trait people often admire is kindness.
Yes, kindness may seem simple, but it can completely change someone's day.
Have you ever met someone who was kind in a way you never forgot?
Actually, yes. Years ago, I was traveling in another city. My phone battery died, and I didn't know how to find my hotel.
That sounds stressful.
It was. I asked a stranger for directions, and instead of simply pointing, he walked with me for almost 15 minutes to make sure I arrived safely.
That's incredibly kind.
I still remember it today because he didn't have to do that.
Small actions often leave the biggest memories.
Exactly.
I had a similar experience once. I dropped all my shopping bags while crossing the street.
Oh no.
Fruit rolled everywhere. Apples seemed to have their own travel plans.
I can imagine them rolling in every direction.
Before I could even react, several strangers stopped to help me pick everything up.
Moments like that remind us that many people are kinder than we sometimes expect.
Yes, and kindness is a personality trait that people always appreciate.
Another quality people often talk about is honesty.
Honesty can sometimes be difficult because telling the truth isn't always comfortable.
That's true, but honesty doesn't mean saying every thought that comes into your mind.
Exactly. You can be honest while still being respectful.
I think that's an important balance.
Here's another interesting question. Do you think our personalities are the same at work as they are at home?
That's a fascinating question. I think most people show different sides of themselves depending on the situation.
For example?
At work, someone may appear very serious and professional.
But at home, they might tell jokes all evening.
Exactly. That doesn't necessarily mean they're pretending.
No, we all adapt to different environments.
Just like we speak differently with our grandparents than we do with our closest friends.
Or differently during a job interview than during a family dinner.
Our personality stays the same, but the way we express it can change.
That's a very natural part of life. I also think personality develops through challenges.
Definitely. Difficult experiences often teach us patience, resilience, or empathy.
Empathy is another beautiful word.
Yes, empathy means trying to understand how another person feels, even if their experience is different from yours.
Instead of immediately judging someone, you first try to see the situation from their perspective.
That can make relationships much stronger.
Let's review some of today's vocabulary together.
Great idea.
The first word is patient. A patient person stays calm while waiting or dealing with problems.
Next is strength. A strength is something you're naturally good at or a positive quality you have.
Another useful word is feedback. Feedback is information or opinions that help you improve or understand yourself better.
We also talked about balance. Balance means giving the right amount of attention to different parts of your life or personality.
Then there's kindness. Kindness means treating people with care, respect, and generosity.
We also used the word honesty, which means telling the truth and acting sincerely.
Another important word is empathy. Empathy means understanding another person's feelings instead of only thinking about your own.
Finally, remember that personalities are not competitions. You don't have to become someone else to be interesting. The goal is to understand yourself a little better and continue growing through your experiences, one conversation at a time.
We've talked about many different personality traits today, and I think one important message is becoming very clear. There isn't one perfect personality that everyone should try to have.
I completely agree. Sometimes people spend so much time comparing themselves with others that they forget to appreciate their own strengths.
It's easy to look at someone who is confident and wish you were more like them.
Or to see someone who is funny, outgoing, or creative and think they're naturally better than you.
But every personality has advantages as well as challenges.
For example, a quiet person may notice details that other people miss.
A talkative person may help strangers feel welcome.
A careful person may avoid unnecessary mistakes.
And an adventurous person may inspire everyone around them to try something new.
Instead of asking, why am I not like that person, maybe we should ask, how can I become the best version of myself?
I really like that question because it changes our focus.
It reminds us that personal growth is about improving ourselves, not copying someone else.
Another interesting thing about personality is that it often appears most clearly during difficult moments.
That's true. When life is easy, many people behave in similar ways.
But when something unexpected happens, our habits and character become easier to see.
Some people stay calm.
Some immediately start helping others.
Some begin searching for practical solutions.
And others bring hope by making everyone smile, even during stressful situations.
Every group needs different kinds of people.
That's why diversity of personality is so valuable.
Imagine if everyone in the world had exactly the same personality.
That would probably become very boring very quickly.
We'd all tell the same jokes, enjoy the same hobbies, and probably argue about the same things.
Variety makes conversations interesting.
It also helps us learn from each other.
For example, organized people can sometimes learn to be more flexible.
And spontaneous people can learn the value of planning ahead.
Patient people can teach us to slow down.
Energetic people can remind us to take action instead of waiting forever.
So instead of seeing our differences as problems, we can see them as opportunities.
Opportunities to understand people better.
Opportunities to become more open-minded.
And opportunities to build stronger friendships.
I also think learning another language gives us a chance to discover another side of our personality.
That's a fascinating idea.
When we speak another language, we sometimes become a little more confident, a little more curious, or even a little funnier.
I've heard many language learners say exactly that.
At first, they feel nervous because they don't know enough vocabulary.
But little by little, they stop worrying about being perfect.
Then they begin expressing their opinions, telling stories, making jokes, and sharing their ideas.
And that's when real communication begins.
So if you're learning English right now, remember that you're not only learning grammar and vocabulary.
You're also building confidence every time you speak.
Every conversation helps you become more comfortable.
Every mistake teaches you something valuable.
And every small success reminds you that progress is possible.
That's why consistency matters much more than perfection.
Let's review some useful vocabulary from today's episode.
Great idea.
The first word is personality. Personality is the combination of qualities that makes each person unique.
Another useful word is confident. A confident person believes in their abilities without needing to be perfect.
We also used the word curious. A curious person enjoys asking questions and discovering new things.
Patient describes someone who can stay calm instead of becoming angry or frustrated.
We talked about organized, which means keeping things planned and in order.
We also learned flexible. A flexible person adapts when situations change.
Another important word is kindness. Kindness means treating people with care, respect, and generosity.
We also mentioned empathy. Empathy means trying to understand another person's feelings and experiences.
And finally, growth. Growth means becoming better through learning, practice, and experience.
Here's a simple exercise for you. Choose 3 personality words that describe you today.
Then choose one personality trait you would like to develop in the future.
Maybe you want to become more confident.
Maybe you'd like to be more patient.
Or perhaps you want to become more optimistic or more organized.
Remember that personalities are not fixed forever.
Small habits repeated over time can slowly shape the person you become.
Before we finish, we'd love to hear from you.
Write a comment using simple English.
You can write, "I'm from blank," and 3 words that describe my personality are blank.
Or tell us one personality trait that you admire in other people.
Reading your comments is always one of our favorite parts of making these episodes.
It's wonderful to see listeners from so many different countries sharing their experiences.
Thank you for relaxing with us today and for making English part of your daily life.
We hope this conversation helped you learn some new vocabulary and also encouraged you to think a little more deeply about yourself.
Keep speaking English, keep learning with curiosity, and remember that every small step brings you closer to your goals.
Take care of yourself, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you again soon here on Chill English Channel. Goodbye, everyone.